Oh, that was fast. All right.
Hello, everyone. Guess we'll wait for a couple people to get here. Um,
Let me just open it up here on YouTube. Let's see. Oh, good. I'm glad our background picture is what it is now that it's new.
Hi, Mosey.
All right. Oh, good. We're connected. Hi, Maureen.
How are you tonight, Maureen? Or I guess it's,
Morning.
what time is it there? It's
I'm not good at math.
morning.
It would be
Morning,
6 a.m. So
Sunday.
that's 12 hours, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's late. It's early. No.
It's early Sunday morning, like probably like 10 a.m. or so, right?
Yeah. Confirm, please, for us, Maureen. For math skills. Welcome, everybody. I'm Karen from Quantum Healing with Tena and Karen. And we're just hopping on today. We're with my co-host, Tina. I think I'm channeling like the old videos because I was watching a lot of our old videos today. So crickets. Okay, let me start over. Ignore that. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen from Quantum Healing with Tina and Karen. I'm here today with my beautiful co-host, Tina.
Hello, everyone.
Wonderful. So today we're just hopping on for a quick live. We had an interesting session the other day um, from a client who was in desperate need of, I guess, help and intervention because of very apparent changes in her reality, I guess, like when she's in her home versus when she's not in her home. And so I guess the main focus was like what's going on in her house. So we did a remote spirit release session for her. And yeah, some of the findings were quite interesting and not exactly what I was expecting, I guess. I mean, we never really know what to expect in it. And especially like when I'm medium, it's like kind of hard to be like, okay, what's that now? And I have to relay it. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how the information unfolds and, putting together a story just through the whatever information is coming through and whatnot. So I don't know if you'd like to add more to that before we share the session.
Yeah, I wanted just to tell you a little bit about what she was experiencing before the session. And then we're going to listen to a part of it, like not all of it, just maybe 20 minutes or so. And then we're going to discuss how she felt after the clearing. And the reason why I wanted to share this in this way was because I think it's really important for people to understand just how much we can be affected by energy and things that we don't see. And a lot of times we have experiences and we invalidate ourselves and we think it's just our imagination. And even and especially our kids, because in this situation, her child was having a lot of experiences and she was chalking it up to her watching too many scary movies when it wasn't that
Mm,
at all. She was
right.
really having these experiences and um, when you're faced with things that you can't see, it's really easy to just dismiss it as, I'm just seeing things or just hearing things or whatever. Hold on, I have to let Coco in.
Okay.
Can you
What I
talk
like
for a sec?
about, yeah, of course. What I like about these sessions too is that it validates a lot of people and how they, just like having those kind of like um realizations or their suspicions. And then, like we go into session and then we're able to validate it for them. So they're able to actually confirm the things and we confirm the things for them too. So it kind of gives, it works both in both ways where they validate what we see, which is great for our practice, and it validate what they see in their life so that they can be more aware, have more quality of life so that they're not second guessing themselves. They can really trust themselves a lot more. So, yeah, we like having those, especially when they give us feedback. You know, we always want to have feedback, whether it's just like nothing right now, or we actually had a client who didn't like really say anything till a few months later, where she was saying like I didn't feel anything, like I was just like going with it, until she looked back at the months prior and was like, wow, I really did have shifts, like big shifts, and wonderful things happened to her. So it's really all depends on people. I really think once you let go of your expectations, then you kind of just let life happen, and then you can reflect back and see what
Right.
kind of shifts have happened. But yeah.
Yeah. In this case, it was instantaneous. She could feel the shift instantaneously. And that's not always the case, like Karen was saying. Sometimes, because we do a lot of, and we're working in the energetic fields, right? So sometimes that can take time to integrate into your physical reality.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can feel the shifts right away when they're super sensitive to energy. Others that aren't as sensitive to energy will look back over time and say, wow, my life has really changed in amazing ways. But you didn't realize it was happening because it was happening slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go from either those instantaneous shifts or those really more long-term kind of things.
Yeah.
With this client, she was noticing constant head fog, dull headache all the time when she was in the home, just feeling really suppressive energy in the house. She just drained all the time, no motivation. But then when she would leave the house, she would feel so much better. She would feel like herself again. Let me see what else that she shared with us before the session. She said that she's always felt like the house was really off. She's lived there for 14 years and has seen and heard things. And there is one bedroom over the years that she saw things kind of moved around in, like she would leave things in one spot and they would be in a different spot later. And she said the house overall has a vibe to it. She didn't get a clear feeling on what it was, but just that it was off. The interesting thing too is that this property belonged to her family 60 years ago. And her husband bought it about 16 years ago before he even met her.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
So that part was really interesting. And she said that the weirdness manifested in different ways throughout the years: anxiety, tension, negativity. She would try to do clearings, just by opening up the windows, allowing the fans to blow, and walk around, stating out loud that she didn't accept any negativity in the home. The kids were also on edge in the home, things like that, just kind of always feeling on edge, dull pressure on the head, no energy or motivation to do anything.
Is Coco okay?
He wants to go out again, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so our client came to us with a lot of these things. So again, as medium, like I don't usually read the information. We do have intake forms that they fill out, and I just like read maybe the basic stuff, but usually the details I don't look at. So it's kind of like interesting to see, like when we go in, sometimes Tina will give me like a little bit of a debrief, I guess, to pretty much put maybe more the focus where we should be like going into, which is really what is going to be beneficial for the client. But yeah, sometimes it's like a lot of details just like pass through me, because like I don't I'm just gonna like going in there and just seeing what shows up. So I don't want to be like I guess I'm biased, I guess, with what I see, or swayed in swayed by the information. But yeah, it's happened so many times, like either like if I do know things or if I don't know things, I feel like either way the information comes through no matter what. So yeah, what are your observations?
Far as
as far as I
How
guess,
much you know or don't know?
yeah, I think either way they've either been validated, either one or the other, like
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to matter much. I feel like though, when we know specific things, symptoms that they might be experiencing, like it's good to know like where to hone in on and like actually check that thing.
hmm
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It all goes by feeling anyway. So
right,
interpretation is really up to the vessel. Like I mean how it shows to me and how I interpret the information that's coming through. So again, we just get the client to validate it. Like if they feel validated and they validate what we see, then
right,
great. You
right.
take the
Because
information for what it is.
right, because we get to validate what they've been feeling, and then they validate what we were seeing in the session. So it's like this really nice um, thing that happens, and really, I mean, Karen is just so amazing to me. Like I just think it's amazing what she can do, and
You're
like
making me hot.
the the details that she pulls forward, like it's just incredible. And then really the ultimate test is whether or not the client noticed any changes. And she said she noticed them instantly, which we'll talk about after we watch this clip. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I still feel very tongue-tied from the all the sessions I've been watching earlier today. I was doing like a reminiscing of like the old. God, what a wild ride. I guess I'm still pretty awkward, but I mean like I'm more of inclined to own it. And I put
Owning your
makeup on.
awkwardness.
Yeah.
um, how are you guys feeling this weekend? I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I've had some exposure to vaccinated people, and I'm really sensitive to that. So my body's just kind of like, blah.
Yeah. Super lazy. I mean, if I could turn my camera to show you like what's right next to me here on my bed, my office, I mean, I have like my two very full laundry baskets. Like I've just been prolonging it. I'm not feeling well. It's not my weekend to have my kids, so I was telling Tina, I was like, okay, Saturday is like my day off. Like I'm not doing anything today. Like we're not doing anything today. Yeah. And then I was like looking at the laundry. And then she's like, want to do a live? I'm like, yes. Let's do that. I'm gonna have to pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I figured, we could just take this little bit of time to get this information out, because I know if we don't do it now, it's
Gonna
just
get
gonna
old
it's gonna get old, and then we're
and
never gonna do it.
unarchived. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have to do things while they're fresh. Okay. Are we ready to watch this clip?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for noticing my halo, Helen. That's not it's my light, my ring light. But yes, sure, I'll take it as a little hat halo.
Okay. So let's watch this and see how the energy of this comes through in this session. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And give us your thoughts too in the comments
Yeah.
if
And if
you
you,
feel anything.
yeah. And if you want me to stop it at any point, Kara, just let me know if you want to say anything.
No problemo, darling.
Can you see that?
No,
You can't?
I just see your mouse.
Hold on.
Or is that my mouse? That's my mouse. Never mind.
Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I do.
Let me just get you up here.
Oh, it's just me in the corner. I thought you would be there too. Oh, there you are. Okay, it's inter thingy.
Okay, so everybody can see that?
Yes, I see it
Okay,
live.
okay.
Have permission from her higher self.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll begin then by scanning through her outer etheric field, checking through all the frequencies from infrared to ultraviolet and beyond, And just let me know what it is that you notice there.
A lot of clarity on my right side, but then on this side, I feel there is like a spiral of energy and what feel like clouds or static, something like that on my left. So it's clear on right and then stuff on the left.
Okay. And as you tune into that energy there on your left side, it comes into clarity. And what do you notice?
I feel like it's really difficult for me to think. Like I'm trying to tune in, but it feels close enough. It's not in my field, but close enough that it's blocking myself from fully, I guess, thinking or feeling. Okay. Um,
What is it that's blocking you? What's there?
it's the energy, like that static type energies. I'm trying to feel through it to see like what the origin of it is. Um, I'm getting things like as if she had picked stuff up along the way in life. Some of it is like familial, like ancestral. Some of it's like, things that she picked up at school, um, places she's gone to, people she's met. So it's like a little bit very environmental on this part. Um, yeah, because I feel like the right side is really clear because I could hear myself better on this side. This side, I feel like I can't hear myself. So it's like a really strong, like suppressive, I guess, energy that's preventing her from, I guess, being able to push out her full power.
Why is it only accumulating on the left side?
I don't know. It feels like a bully, like it's just trying to push me or dominate this side, the left. Like,
Is it an entity?
uh, I don't, if I'm gonna, not, well, entity, I feel like it's more, if anything, it's what it's close to, if anything, like it feels like lightning. So there's like something here that's also like screwing with her system, shocking the system, because I feel, I guess, weaker, like it's weakening my system. Um, the entity, let me just remove like what's here so I could maybe like see if there's anything behind it. Okay, when I remove all of it, like everything just like I'm here standing, and then when it all dissipates, I am focusing down on the ground and I see what looks like a shadow person. I don't see um it's small, maybe like a foot long, like foot tall. It's tiny. Has arms and legs. I can't see the face. Or hold on, if I go closer. I feel like I need to get smaller to see it.
Yeah. And also asking it to show you its true form.
Okay. It has big black eyes again, almost like the same being that we saw in like sessions ago, with an elongated head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, elongated head, two dots for a nose, almost gray like, but it feels like an AI gray
Yeah.
because it doesn't, I don't get the feel of full gray, but it feels like a more, well, modern version of it, like a,
I wanted to ask you if this was the same being that you saw in that Masonic room with the black and white checkered floor, or different?
Different, not the same. The one that was the old man?
Mm-hmm.
No, different. Not the same. A newer version of it, I guess, a hybrid. That's probably why I'm feeling electricity, because that's where the artificial stuff is coming in. Because then it's like the static is like going into my head, so I can't think. It's almost like as if it's sending impulses or something for me, preventing from being able to function fully. I'd be curious to know if she's home right now as we're doing this.
Why you say that?
Because it feels like it only happens around here, like when she's on her property, when she's like confined in the space of the home.
Okay. And why
Because
is
when
that?
I go outside, or like maybe even like just a couple of feet out, I feel like I could breathe a little bit. Like the static goes away. I see it like go. And then I get my arm back, I get my head back. I feel like I'm more imbalanced because like the right side, like I said, was empty, and now it's like the whole space now is full, like it's empty.
Okay.
But then I go back in the house, and then it's like this blanket or something. That energy just comes on. Left side though. Right side, I feel like it's still open, but I feel like it's trying to slowly erode, coming more in and into the space.
Tuning into it and understanding what is its purpose here.
It feels as though like they're trying to there's definitely portal present, but it also feels like an overlay of, because I'm seeing more beings in the house.
What kind of other beings do you see?
It's the same ones.
How many?
There's got to be at least six to eight of them. Eight. But the ones when I go closer to the other ones, they look more like green. The big eyes again, not as elongated as that one, but they look more like grays, these ones.
Mm-hmm. So
And however, a little bit insectoid at the same time. There's a bit of a thing here.
Okay. So is this the first being that you saw? Is this the one in charge of it? Or is there someone else in charge?
Well, I mean, if we have to put it in rank, I guess he's the manager.
Okay.
These are like other beings are just like the workers, but they feel very aggressive, like more aggressive than I've ever experienced these kind of grays. Just the energy of it feels like they're just like coming in, trying to corner me, I guess. So I'm like really placing like a shield in front, like to get out of my space. I'm just gonna press pause here because I can't take it. It feels as though like the one in charge looks more like a Yoda.
Does it have ears?
Yes. So again, it feels a gray, but then it's not. It's there. It feels like they're just hybrids of grays.
We've
Here.
seen this Yoda like being before in a ship.
Okay. And this is what I'm saying. Like it feels like this is shippy. Like there's an overlay of a ship in here. Shippy. But only on one side of the house. I don't feel, maybe this is why there's an imbalance here. Because I feel like I'm toppling over on my left side, like I'm going to fall because of how heavy it is on this side versus this side. Like I want to go on this side and I'm trying to climb because it feels like the house is tipping over. it's as if like a ship had come in and it crashed, but only half of it is in here in the house, where the other half is not hit.
That's weird. We've never seen that before.
No. But this is what it feels like. I mean, like I really feel like I'm leaning more to my left because of how heavy it is on this side.
And so what are they doing to the inhabitants of this home? How are they affecting them? What are they doing?
I feel their energy in general, it's so different and so low. Again, with the technology, there's a lot of technology here. There's a lot of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a lot of static is going on here. So it could affect them in a way that, yeah, it could make them feel like how I was feeling, like I couldn't think, like um unable to function like fully. I feel scattered, if anything. And I feel like I really want to go that way. I want to go right. I want to go away from this, what feels like a falling energy into this space.
So how is
Um,
this technology, this radiation affecting the people?
well, it could make them feel like really fatigued is a
Mm-hmm.
good word. Yeah, lethargic. It could definitely like, because I could see how the energies of these things are like playing with the human cells, like of our body, and it's creating like a vibration that is could be very overstimulating if you're really sensitive. Um, because like when I take Jennifer out of here, we go outside and we go like far from that. Um, she feels really like a chill type person, but then there's an underlying anxiety that's created because of the energy of the home. So it could be, manifesting as an anxiety. And because, anxiety usually it's like, I don't know, sometimes we don't know where it's coming from. It could be like, thought or whatever. But in this case, it's an anxiety that is created from, I guess, the beings that are here because they're not
Right.
they're
But
not really forthcoming
I
and
guess
nice looking.
I guess my question is, are they doing this purposefully? Like, are they here purposefully to affect these people in some way? What
Um,
are they carrying out experiments, or what exactly are they doing here?
I'm getting a no for experiments. I feel like they literally crashed here. Um, or if anything, like there was a crash that happened on this land sometime.
Okay.
Because like when I go away from the home, I don't feel it. It feels very specific to this house. Like I'm feeling into like other homes or anything that's close by, and I don't feel that. It feels really specific to this house. And as if the energies are still present, perhaps because, like, I mean, because if given time doesn't exist, it's like the energies of them are still here. Again, I don't feel that they are doing or performing any type of experimentation on them, but they are still here. I guess it's comfortable here. Um, I'm trying to feel into, it's like as if they're trying to get their spaceship to work again and get the hell out of here. I feel like this was like a botched, like kind of thing. Like they weren't supposed to crash here. They weren't supposed to land here.
Hmm.
So the interesting thing about this is after the session, she told us that she has dreamt that there's a quartz deposit underneath the home and that it's a really special land. Hold on, let me see what she said exactly. Oh, there used to be a church there as well. And she's found like arrowheads on the land. So that would make sense that they were attracted to that place.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they crashed there.
Well, Right. But maybe something went wrong with their ship, or maybe the pull from the land is what made them crash. If there are, really big energies there.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. It felt like a magnetic pull or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what
It's
do
like
we
as if
do in
something
this
had
case?
pulled them here.
Oh, there.
Something had pulled them here. And it's like, I don't know what I'm getting. It's like there's like this electromagnetic force maybe that's under the water, or not the water, but the land that may have pulled. Yeah, because I'm getting a force here. Like I'm seeing like how it was just like a typical saucer, how you would see it. And then it just kind of like maybe got caught in this like magnetic like pull, because then I see it going and then it gets pulled and then it comes crashing down into the space. I'm not saying the house, but this, if anything, in the land. And then yeah.
Really interesting.
Oh, that's a funny face.
What do we do in this case? How do we clear them?
That is a great question. Well, I've pressed pause on them, so I'm just gathering them collectively and placing them into some kind of like sanctuary type thing, and removing this overlay of this UFO thing out of here. It's like a big clunker. But it was carrying like different aged beings, because you have that maybe that modern one, unless that modern one came here to help to free these ones out of here.
Wait, do you mean there's two ships there?
No, there's one, but like that one, the one that I saw that looked more like a modern or the AI type. Yeah, I don't know if it was here. Like I'm trying to feel into it and see, but it feels like as if it was here to kind of like get their data and their things out of here, because they weren't supposed to come here.
Do you get a sense of when this happened?
Ooh, how long ago was that? It's been decades. This being, though, I feel like has come here at least within the last, let's say, 8 years.
So they're not intentionally there to affect the people in the home.
I feel, though, the beings that were here, that crashed here, that weren't supposed to, no, they weren't intentionally trying to do anything. This one, however, feels like yes, because it's like a new, different type, AI type, gray. So I feel like it's come here and it's like, oh, what's this? you know, getting out of like the agenda of like taking these ones out of here, when it's like trying to like stay longer than it should be.
Can you just do a scan and see if they've placed any kind of technology into the inhabitants of the home, any kind of implants or devices, cords, hooks, anything like that?
Devices, I feel yes. Etherically, like we've removed the ship itself and had removed that. See what else is here.
What kind of devices do you see implanted?
They're like just these gold, some of them gold, some of them silver, some of them brassy, like chips, like rectangular chips that are not so big. They're pretty small, but like I see them a little bit everywhere, mainly on this like wall, like the wall that where all that energy is coming from, or where they had that's closest to the crash site, let's say. Um,
I mean, technically, this could have happened in another dimension on and that lays on top of this third density. You know, like it could have crash landed in the fourth dimension, and this
yeah,
time and space overlaid on top of the third density.
yeah, that's very possible.
Um, okay.
Yeah, because there's like a portal, there's portals, there's like things all happening on this one side. This side, nothing. I feel nothing here.
You mean in the home or in
The
her?
home, inside the home.
Okay, and the devices that you see, are they inside the people?
No, in the home.
They're in the home.
It's all home. Yeah. In the people are being affected by those waves, those like whatever frequency they were vibrating at.
Right.
So they could have been tapping in to, yeah, the frequencies that they're not normally like, attuned to. And then that could disrupt their system itself, and why I'm feeling like this helmet of like, it's just stuck here, like as if I can't think, like it's blocking me from being able to process.
It's really interesting because I was just watching a video earlier today on electronic neurological warfare. And the presenter was saying that if you feel like you're being targeted in this way, and it was almost the same exact thing you're describing, she said, walk outside your house because
Yes.
they won't be able to affect you there.
Yes, that's why I'm like, feeling her outside is so different than what it feels like on the inside, and why one side of me feels like it's just, oh god, it's so heavy. And then the lopsidedness of the house too, it's just, I feel like it, one of those like funny homes, or those places that you go to and you're like walking and you're walking crooked. It feels so heavy energetically on one side. The other side feels empty and full, like yeah, empty, spacious. Everything like as if it's falling on one side.
Okay. So I guess we'll go ahead then and move this ship out and clear up all of this energy.
Yes, so ship is being removed, removing all parts of it that don't belong in this home. Oh, it's crazy. Like after like we removed it, it's like I saw the house like come boom back to equal.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, so I wasn't imagining that. Like I feel the shift even in my own body, like come back to equilibrium. Um, all those beings were removed. I don't feel any earthbounds, but I feel like again, they weren't they weren't malicious. They like as if they were trapped there.
Yeah.
They couldn't get out. They couldn't, like a really bad um like plane crash where you can't get in contact, back to home base or whatever. Like they couldn't communicate. Um so yeah, all the UFO like ship stuff is all gone, all the pieces. We're just removing like all the devices that are like kind of lined up here, that we're scraping them off, and also like dismantling them so that there's no waves coming through. Um,
So these were given off like frequencies, right, that were affecting the people in the home, these technologies.
yes, because even as I'm removing them, I'm feeling more like, okay, I could breathe a little bit
Yeah.
because it's so heavy. Like just one side though, really unusual. Um,
Just go ahead and do that. Remove all of that energy.
Okay. Okay, so all those chips are gone. Guess while we're here, we'll just clear the rest of the home. So we'll just pass through the internet connection, passing also light through the walls again, ceilings, floors, furniture, appliances, combing through their internet connection, going through their devices, clearing any portals that are present. I do feel a little bit of astral things, but those are so minuscule compared to that heavy, dense energy that was here. It's almost like you just need a little duster for these ones, like they're so easy.
She said that she noticed things would move around in the house. What was creating that?
That feels like very frequency like to me. Like just so much of those frequencies and heavy energies, I guess, that were also here. Like there were beings here, there were like those grays here, hybrid grays. So they could have been moving it too. But it feels as though like the frequency itself, if not moving it telepathically, was another thing too. Because I'm seeing them like putting their big ET finger to their head, and it's like something's kind of moving a little bit, but I don't see them physically like taking something in their hand and moving it. It's all they're very telepathic. What else?
You
And the
said that
frequencies itself are, yeah,
you
it's so
said that
heavy. Sorry, go ahead.
how many of these smaller ones did you say you saw?
Just one small one, just that one small shadow, like hybrid,
No,
gray.
the other ones.
There was 8.
8.
Yeah, I said 6 to 8, but yeah, 8. There was 8.
And you describe, do they look like grays?
They look like grays, but they also look like a different type.
You mentioned they were a little bit green. Were they green?
Greenish, a little bit more like kind of like grasshopper green, I guess. Yeah, insectoid a bit, not fully. I felt the insectoid type energies in them, but they look gray to me, like gray beings. But they had a different. They're hybrids. But the one that I saw, the little one, was definitely AI.
And you said these 8 were aggressive?
No, not aggressive. This little one was aggressive.
Okay.
The more futuristic one was aggressive. These ones are more, weren't here to harm the family. I don't feel that from them. I feel like they were on some different mission, and I feel like they can't think outside of their one mission. So I felt like they were just kind of scrambling and like trying to figure whatever and dealing. Like they're not so intelligent, if not like not as intelligent.
They're hive mind, yeah.
Yes, definitely hive mind. Can't think, like could not. I feel like they couldn't even get out of here.
They can't critically think.
No.
Right. So then that other one was sent in to somehow help them, and then he got stuck there too.
Well, he got stuck here too because this one had a different agenda on its own.
Okay. And what
Like
was the
this
agenda
one,
of that one?
This one felt like it was like here to not wreak havoc, but like creating its own like all those devices were placed here by him. Those that dense energy too was amplified because of this artificial intelligence. So anything of the natural source of frequencies that came from that ship or that came from, let's say, a Wi-Fi or whatever, was here to give it a 10 million times booster. And here to also like kind of fuck with the family, I guess, like in whatever ways. Feels more so like via the dreams or yeah, when they're not fully conscious. So it's like, yeah, sleeping, or when they're in between sleep, like if they have to get up to go to the bathroom, like that kind of time around there.
And it wasn't implanting any kind of devices in the people during that time? Or can we just scan to see for Jessica?
Jennifer.
I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Um, one on the crown. Uh, yeah, like a long cord. If anything, I'm not feeling device, but a cord that's going down from that crown. Almost feels like it's like one of those AI cord things.
Where's it going to?
I'm feeling more so out left foot,
Mm.
which is screwing with her grounding. It's not allowing her to feel fully anchored, imbalanced. Um, this is what like throws off her her balance, equilibrium. Um,
What's the
feeding off of the emotional body.
Okay. So that was my next question. How do these beings sustain themselves while they're here? How do they get energy to sustain themselves?
They still had like, energy from the ship because the ship has its own consciousness. Wasn't completely dead after it crashed. It's still technically quote unquote alive. So they have resources from there, resources from whatever's around land wise. But I feel like they really gathered, if anything, with themselves here in this space only. This being itself was like feeding off of like the people like when they're asleep and all that stuff, and um kind of, yeah, as if like harvesting like from those chips, like the energy, like pulling it into the to those chips and devices
Okay, so
also, and then creating that staticky type thing too.
so those chips and devices that were placed in the home were drawing in energy from the people that live there.
Yes.
And then they were sustaining themselves using that harvested energy from the devices.
Yes, I feel more so that those devices though were harvested only for that little one being, that newly hybrid one, but the other ones were able to, majority of it was to sustain itself from the ship energy. Like they still have resources there.
And if they are a hive mind, they probably would still be connected to the hive. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it was that one being that was harvesting energy from the people in the home through the use of
Yes.
those devices.
Yes. And I feel because it's AI, it was being able to, to do those head cap things because it's trying to get that intelligence from the human.
What do you mean by the head cap things?
That thing that I was saying, like that it felt like it was kind of embodied, like going on top of the head to take, that was taking like my thoughts, that was taking like all the critical thinking or whatever it is. Like it felt like it was blank slating me.
Okay.
But it's as if it's like trying to pull that natural intelligence that we have to, almost in a way like making me feel like a gray myself because I had none of that emotional intelligence anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm. So that would explain the constant head fog and dull headache that she would have.
Yeah, I would say the dull headache would be from just that heaviness of that the space and how it's not balanced at all. It's really like toppling. So if most of the body weight or the, just the energy itself is being shifted to one side and being pulled and siphoned to that one side, yeah, I can see how that could create a headache or something.
So how is the energy in the home feeling now?
Just give me a moment. I feel like I need to do like another clear through again, because like as I was like channeling that energy again, like it went back to imbalance, and so I'm bringing it back to flattened out. Okay, that is all gone there. All the beings have been put in sanctuary. All of the energy on this side is all gone. Chips have also been removed. Light has been passed. I feel like I have to organize myself.
Walls,
ceilings, floors, furniture, appliances, internet connection has been cloned out. Astral beings have also been dusted out of here. Tiny portals also that I was seeing in the bedrooms that I'm also closing down. DFEs, I don't feel that. Earthbound souls too, I do not feel that. Feels a little heavy on the roof area, so that's also just feeling into that. It's relative to what I was feeling here on the left side, like all that compounded, I guess, what do you call it, AI type of energy.
I think it's good for people to know that we don't cut corners.
Kind of pushing it out. Feels like I'm stuck in a box, like it's pushing it all out, opening it up again, the space opening up again, putting mirrors on the windows. Asking also for the organic true protector energies to come inside the home to fill up the space, and also the true organic source light also to come in here. Placing protection around the home, also doing a clean sweep under the land to dig out anything that does not belong to that ship, because I feel like it had landed in the home and also in a tilt that also went into the land too. So removing any of those excess energies from the floor, the ground. Missing anything? Just going through the mirrors.
I'm just chilling.
2. I look like a potato. Just feeling through the house itself. I'm hoping that the energy will shift.
I think that's why it's good to have OCD when we're doing the job too.
Those old energies to get out of the physical. Yeah. Because there was a lot here.
Yeah. Well, it would be good for her to do her clearing ritual with the fans and opening the windows and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, just intention to take it all out. Doesn't belong. Like exactly what you're doing, continue that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, came back. Okay, so the rest of that was just, it was a really quick, like clearing, checking for sovereignty, things like that. There wasn't much after that, but that was the big part of it. She did have a level 2 attached to her. That was the one you said looked like Dobby, whoever that is.
Yeah, Dobby.
I don't know. Dobby.
Yeah, I showed you the picture. It's remember had like the ears, like it was white, had ears, big eyes.
Yeah. There were some past life things too that she verified. Negative contracts, some parasites. The root was cracked. Her root chakra was cracked by that cord thing that was going from the crown into the foot. Right. And then that destabilized the root. Do you guys have any questions about that session?
Yeah, that was an interesting session. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before, like where there's a UFO that crashed and
No,
you know.
no, that was the first time we ever saw that, which is why I thought it was so interesting and also important to share too, because this was a really good example of how these interdimensional beings can affect us physically,
Mm-hmm.
with all of that energy, with all of those beings being in the home there. um, the people in the home are really being affected by their energy. And it's important that we know that, and we know that this can happen. And, the potential for um, a whole household to be affected by these energies when you don't even know it. But what I
Yeah.
thought was the most amazing was the immediate shift in the energy that she felt. Um, what she said after, she was just completely like shocked by the session.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I checked in with her. I think this was from today. She said, still feeling awesome in the house. It's unreal. I'm relaxed and not stressed out or overwhelmed with my daily tasks. My kids are more agreeable and behaved the last couple days. I have so much more patience with my kids and husband. I feel like myself again. It feels so good that I've cried in appreciation.
That's great.
Yeah,
Because you don't realize how much you're suffering until you don't feel it anymore.
right.
And having like such a quick transition, and yeah, it's great because they're really highly sensitive folk. So yeah, it makes a huge difference in their world if you're, especially when you're completely clear in mind, 1 minute you're out of your home, and home is supposed to be a place where you're supposed to feel the safest and where you can just let go and relax, and then coming in there and completely losing your mind, like, or being suppressed or being foggy or whatever it is. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I thought
nice
it
that you
was
could take that back.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting too how you kept describing how it was all on the left side. And she said after the session, she did a meditation and she actually felt her left side coming back. Like she felt um, the energy coming back into her left side, or opening up or something. She felt the difference. And she
Yeah.
said she hadn't felt that in a really long time. The other good thing too is that now, she said she knows where the majority of that energy was in her daughter's room, the way Karen was feeling that the off balance of the house.
Oh
She
god,
said
yeah.
she knows that the majority of that was actually like on the side of the house that the daughter's room was. And she was actually experiencing the energy. She was telling her that she thought there was a portal here. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a huge portal, right? Um, I think is that the portal, is that where that the solo being came in from, the portal?
um Perhaps. I felt like the little 1 inch one, the 1 foot one. I think that one was sent to help, but then it came for its own agenda after.
Right. But how did it get there? Did it come through a
Um,
portal?
I would say another portal. I don't remember per se, but there was portals around there. So yeah, there's multiple ways it could have come in.
It's interesting because I think it was the night before this session, or yeah, the night before this session, I came across an experiencer, a guy who's experienced these kinds of things in his own home. And he actually had pictures of the portals opening in his home and these beings come through.
Oh, is that
Um,
the video that you shared with me there?
yeah,
That was, oh yeah, yeah, with the
yeah.
grays and the
What was his name? Yeah, you could see the grays coming through the portals, and it was exactly what we happened to see in our session,
yeah.
like the next day or that night. I
Oh yeah,
forget. It was around the same time.
right.
What was that guy's name? Do you remember?
Oh, I
Let me
forgot.
see.
Yeah, that
I
was
might have
really
saved it.
interesting. Yeah, he was this guy was like being abducted too by, there were grays. I don't know, did they mention any other races? But I remember like for sure grays. And he had come to the point where he, like, his wife was feeling it too in the house, and they had bought tons of equipment to kind of capture these phenomena like coming in to the home.
Yeah.
So
His name
yeah.
is David Eckhart. Eckart. David Eckhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has actual like photos of these beings coming through the portals. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting too how you said you felt like they were almost like blank slating you, like
Is
to
that
make
when I
you,
was talking about the cap?
yeah, to make you like feel like them, like your
Yeah.
actual greater self.
Right.
And how
Yeah, they
hurt,
have no feeling.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the 8 of them that were there, right?
They have no feeling. Like really, like not. It's hard to read them because they're not. Yeah, they have no emotional. I guess body. At least very minimal. Really minimal. Because they are hybrid, so they're not full on grays, like where they're completely shut off, but very, very, very minimal. And forget that AI one. I just felt that it was not good just because it's like they're usually not good.
Well, yeah, and I think that's important for us to see um, these gray beings and how they operate too, whether they are humanity from the future or they're actual aliens, whatever they are, their agenda in connecting with humanity is not a good one. It's not for the highest
Mm-mm.
good of humanity. They have their own agenda. Um, and that is to silently infiltrate, and especially in the spiritual community, where people are channeling these beings and bringing through their information. It's a very subtle deception and merging with humanity. Just because a being comes from a higher dimension doesn't mean that they're more evolved than we are. They're actually less evolved because they've completely lost their connection to the heart and their emotional bodies. And they're trying to reclaim that through their abductions of humans and the stealing of their genetic information. Like
Okay, then.
this, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, people will look up to these beings for like ascension teachings and things like that. Meanwhile, they're the ones coming back here to steal from us because they've lost themselves to transhumanism. They've taken that pathway. They've um, evolved themselves through technology, and that's what they are now. They are completely devoid of anything remotely human, and that's not an organic path. That's not an organic ascension path at all. That's not where we want to be as an organic human. They're just like a living example of what we do not want.
Right.
Yet they're being brought through as this with this intellectual information and things like that, and people are looking up to them. And the whole abduction phenomena is being justified, like somehow they're trying to justify the abduction, torture, and traumatization of humans. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, but there's just no excuse for that.
Right. There should be no excuse for that.
There should be, yeah.
There is none.
Right, but people make excuses for them. But it's good to
Oh.
see anyway.
Oh, because
that
we're one.
Right, because we're one. That's what they say. They
So.
use the law of one to their advantage. And, you can see the really subtle deception there. I do believe that we're all linked in a way, but it really doesn't matter in this density because we have to have boundaries with these beings that are overstepping and violating our sovereignty and free will.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't really matter if we're all one or not when they're doing that. You have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, def.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust any tall whites that are saying they're here to help us.
Yeah, always feel into their, the words and how the being feels. I
And
don't
whether
know.
the information sounds right, and not necessarily does it feel good, because information can feel really good but not be grounded in reality at all, but does it feel right? Does it feel right to you? I think is a better question to ask.
Yeah.
And
And honestly, like, what have these beings done for us anyway? Just out of curiosity. Like,
right.
what have they done? I haven't, no one has helped me really. I had to do it all myself. So, I mean, this is all part of like, the kind of thing that we've always been trying to promote is you can only help yourself. There's no savior. You are your own savior. We can all help walk each other home, but you gotta walk yourself. Like, do the
Yeah.
walking yourself.
Yeah.
So
And any being that's being channeled through, you have to ask them these questions. What is their tie to humanity? Why are they here? What is their purpose?
yeah, and
And what
how
is
do
their
they help?
connection?
How
Right.
do they help? I I would like to know that. How do they help?
Right.
Um, Vera is saying, do certain children attract more of those energy vampires or entities?
Yes.
Um, yes, there are certain things. I think from what we've seen, it's mainly like, either you're super traumatized, you're very highly sensitive, you have special gifts or, empathic gifts or whatever it is. Children
High amounts
usually
of
they're,
light.
yeah,
High
children
amounts of light.
usually they have, um, their veil's a lot thinner. Um, I guess at this point they're like either wheat or tear. So that they're pretty much like, coming into their own. And then it's really later on when they become like, I guess, coming fully into themselves, that's when the divide happens, like whether you are a source player or you're not, or NPC or backdrop person. But yeah.
Yeah, but kids, these entities know. This is a conversation I was having in our Quantum Healers Forum about the idea that we have to be in really low vibrations of fear to attract these entities. And that's just not true.
Mm-mm.
It's all the time. Is that true? Yes. Entities are attracted to our fearful states. However, there's a whole other, even more deceptive group of entities from the higher realms that are attracted to us for our high frequency. They feed off of our light. They know, they track us, and they know when we're being born and back into the physical form, and they insert all kinds of manipulations as we're being born into the physical, and even in the afterlife. So like my brother, for example, was abducted by the Greys before he even made it into the womb.
Oh yeah.
So
I think everybody's a bait. No, I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, like, you have like the open, organic portals that they could come into, feed off of you. Like, I feel like nobody's immune to this. So either
nobody's
way,
immune
everyone is fish food.
nobody's immune to it, but there are people who are more targeted than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that really depends on um, your spiritual DNA, like your actual soul essence and what that can do for them.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're not even always aware of because we're cut off. We don't have any memories of who we really are. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any memories of who I am either. Not even a little bit. It makes me wonder because I mean, like, I reflect on like my old BQH sessions, and I was just like, this is my one life here as a Syrian starseed. In order for me to prepare myself for my mission on Earth, like they had implanted like memories that didn't even belong to me. And is that true? I don't know. I don't know. They really must have wiped it real good. Um, but I used to remember my dreams very vividly. And then this is back when I was still dissociating. So of course I'm not really fully in body. So my dreams, yes, I would remember them until I became a little more grounded in my body. Then I don't remember them as much. But it also feels like every time we wake up from a dream, it's like our memory gets wiped. We forget everything again. So it's the same kind of shit. That's what it feels like. Like we kind of get like a little bit of like a it,
Mhm.
but then after that, like as you become more awake or conscious, you lose it. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, there is mind wiping in the astrals as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's stupid.
I did actually find David Eckhart through James Bartley. I just found James Bartley recently, and I really like him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very possible, Vera.
Yeah, you should teach her, Vera, how to protect herself when she's opening up to channel those creative energies, because there can be other energies that come through that channel as well, which we see in our own selves and our own kids. Like
Mm.
when we're doing things like art and things like that, it's seeing the difference between like what Julia channels and what Buggy is channeling is very interesting to see.
So different.
So different.
One's
Yeah.
like a unicorn heart, and the other one's just like a zombie
Yeah.
astral being.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, we gotta clear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Helen. I mean, I could do a session on myself to like go and look back, but my past lives aren't really exactly my priority, to be honest. The thing that we're on though, like what Tina and I are trying to look for is like what happens in between lives before we incarnate, or how did we get back into the soul trapping system. That's something of interest right now than for me to actually explore a past life. I don't really need it per se. That I don't feel like it's an importance, because I'm just really trying to master this life, and I pretty much know more or less what my weaknesses and vulnerabilities are, that I can work through it. But yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to know if I came from whatever, I mean, I could, but right now it's just like I don't really need to, because if we're trying to get out of here, then it doesn't matter anymore what my past is. you know we're past that program of wanting to incarnate. That's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, we are catapulting out of here. I don't care how. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but we're gonna do some sessions based on that. Like, how do we get out of here? How do we
Yeah.
return? Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to fit in sessions like in between, like just for our own exploration in between, like
Oh
work.
yeah. We were supposed to do that last night, but I was so exhausted. My phone actually didn't even pick up the notification that you texted me. So I was just kind of like, oh well, she's probably sleeping. And then I just managed to like check, like just to see. And I was like, oh, she wrote me like an hour ago. And I was like, that's weird. And I was like, oh well, meant to be, I guess. Like some things are just, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes up a lot, like thankfully, I'm grateful that we have um a lot, like enough like clients to come in during the our to fill in our days, which is wonderful. But I think like we do get pieces of the puzzle through our sessions, which is nice. And of course, we want to accelerate the puzzle piecing through our own sessions and whatnot. But sometimes we just don't have time. We're recovering in between sessions. And, this is like something again that I wanted to address about the community, and how it's like, oh, you shouldn't be focusing on that because it's so negative and low vibrational. I go, do you think I'm going to get all high pitched here? Do you think I want to do this work? Do you think I want to put myself in danger, my kids in danger, and my partner in danger? Do you think I want to go and slay demons and open up the latex to see what's under there? No, I don't. That's not like a thing where I'm just like, yeah, let's go to the darkness because, we want to be different. No, this is just our soul's mission here, and trying to help people understand, so that whatever, like you go on your conveyor belt and get the hell out of here. I'm trying to do what is called of us in our work, which is not conventional, yes, to say the least. This is not a choice for us to be rebels. This is it. But I'm not, don't tell me I'm trying to be low vibrational and I'm bringing you down. Like, yeah, that's your own fear. Go look at yourself. Like, I'm just trying to do my work and trying to get the hell out of here. So if you want to stay here, stay here. But don't tell me that I'm trying to make it all low. Sorry, I'm getting hot. I'm just pissed because I'm like, do you really think we want to do this? Like, I mean, like, why would I choose that? It's so much easier, yes, to choose. Like, okay, fine. Nasara's coming, and I'm gonna get my med bed soon, and all the stuff. Like, we're gonna go to 5D. I would love that. I would watch channelings all the live long day and listen to all the beautiful messages of love and light and fill my life with fruits and all the yeah, please ding that. But it's true. I'm just trying to put that there because it pisses me off. You think it's easy for us to go against the grain? It's not. It's very awkward and it's very uncomfortable. It makes me very uncomfortable, to be honest. But we have to do it anyway because this is what is called for in our work. And we're not going to ignore the information that comes through, especially when it feels resonant and grounded and also backed up by our own life experience. We're all evolving. We're all open to whatever information is coming out there. And you know what? It's yeah, thanks, Helen, for laughing. But
Yeah,
it's true.
it is
It's
annoying.
hard. It is annoying.
Hard.
Like, yes, we were there. We were one of the love and lighters. Fine. It was even like, it's not natural for me. I should have taken that as like a red flag or a red flag, like when we were like namaste, like that's not a natural thing for me. I'm not that. And but it's like whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel good about yourself and your life. Great. This going
but here's the thing
is hard.
But here's the thing though, when you're a practitioner, you have a duty to your clients. You have a responsibility to your clients to not open them up to realms of deception. And when you're a practitioner and you're not willing to look at these things, that's a different story than if you're a regular person. My issue comes with practitioners who aren't willing to look at these things. And that's where I get a little upset because our work, you even bring up the topic of protection in a group and you will get labeled fear-based.
It's too easy, to call it out like that. You're fear-based. But is it really that bad to even consider protection? See, these are things it's like to consider.
Right.
Like just open yourself up enough to consider somebody else's practice may not look like yours, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong or right or whatever. For us, this is what it is. Like, this is the direction that we've been brought to. It's all darkness. It's all like we've been to the basement of Satan's house. Like, you think I want to go there?
But no. That's because we're open to the fact that we may have been deceived in the past. We can admit that, like we've done some things that we don't align with anymore, that we could have been fooled by. We've openly admitted that. But when people have based their whole practice on these things, on hypnosis sessions, on channeling, and never considered the fact that there may have been deceptive energies coming through there, then for them to then go and admit, oh yeah, there may have been some deceptive energies coming in there, that would like blow up their whole career. So I get why.
Mind. Okay. Right. I do get that too. Absolutely. That would blow up your whole career. It would be over, your followers and all the things. If someone were to prove us that we were wrong, I would openly be like, thank God, because I don't want to go in Satan's basement anymore. And if there was proof, if there was proof in this physical world where there is no such thing as a bad politician, a reptile boss, no war, then I would consider that, yes, our practice is a little bit off. But you can't deny that by what we see in our physical world, that, I am not one with my prime minister. I am not one with my old reptile boss. I am not one with them. I don't connect with that because that is like a morally not in my compass at all.
Well,
So
it's spiritual bypassing.
right. So I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I can understand why they are the way that they are, but that doesn't mean that I accept it. I don't. It's bullshit. Like, this is not the world we should be living in. If we were all one, then they would be like us wheats. We would only be wheats in the world. No? I wouldn't have to look through freaking latex to see what's under it. You know, like there shouldn't be latex to hide something dark. We wouldn't have remote spirit release. We would not have mental illness. We would not have disease. We would not have any of that shit. We would not have to deal with all the things that we are dealing with.
Here's the thing though, like people think that it's only low vibrational entities, say like demons, devils, whatever. Even they're in a higher vibration. They're in the fourth dimension astral. They're higher vibration. Yeah. They're in a higher vibration now. So to think that higher vibrational entities coming through in your sessions or channelings couldn't possibly be deceptive is just really naive. Because even beings up as, you know, all the way up the dimensions are deceptive.
Right.
You know, what dimension are the Anunnaki from? Like 5 to 7, who knows? But they're still higher than here. And people think just because a being comes from a higher dimension, that means they're good. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. There's still duality all the way up. All the way up.
All the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still duality. So
yes, this whole matrix system, everybody, it's like comprised of like different dimensions. The higher you go, it's still the matrix, this matrix. It's all deceptive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've seen. Like, just because something is a higher dimension doesn't mean it's good. And there's this idea that, you know, the 5D is like completely perfect and wonderful. And that's not true either. 5D would kind of look like Earth right now without all the fuckery happening. You know, you'd still be in a physical body. You'd still have male and female. You still have like a house and like a car, maybe an airplane or a ship or whatever. But it's still physical. It's just another layer of the game. You know, it's just like a little step up. It's just
a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a tiny bit.
Right.
Not
our
that
goal
much.
Is to get out of the whole game, you know, like not.
So that we don't have to do this at all. I don't want to land on 11th dimension heaven in this matrix. It's not part of winning the game. You're still in Jumanji. You're still in it. Yeah. Helen says, yes, some channelers state that we are making up reptiles and all the negative entities. Okay, thanks. Thank you for your 2 cents. Tell those don't watch those channelers, Helen. I mean, you can, yeah, don't. Vera says, I have a friend. She calls herself a light master. And she has contact with aliens and angels. How can I get the certainty that she doesn't have contact with deceptive beings? Well, one thing that you need to ask her, Vera, is do you check your contact with your aliens and angels? Do you check to see if they are good? Do you ask for them to reveal themselves, like who they truly are? Does she protect herself as a light master from these beings? Does she give advice about protection, or does she have an understanding of energies and how there are dual beings in this world? Well, probably not dual at this moment. I mean, like, I don't feel majority of them are not good. I haven't really, I mean, the only being or things that you should connect to is your own inner self, higher self. That's really the safest thing that you should connect to. that's really the advice that we give people. Because even for me, like working with guides or whatever, I really, the core of my connection is really within myself, because I can't count on anything outside of me, because there's so much hijacking and deception that could, take my guides or whatever and use that, especially when we're, have that responsibility of dealing with other people's lives and energy fields. It's not a responsible thing to put so much of your power into another being outside of you. So yes, I do count only on myself to have, the clear connection, contact with my higher being to do the work. And that too is also based on how much trauma work and healing I've done within my own vessel. So to have much less density and stuff in the way. We're always working through our own stuff, and we do count and ask too. We set an intention before we go into clearings that we will get also the healing as well. So it's also helping with our own vessels and clearing out all the energies. So these are questions you need to ask your friend. If she's open, if she gets offended by that, that would be a red flag for me. Someone who, we don't call ourselves masters. That's for one thing. I find that's just a word where, like we're not masters. We're just trying our best. We're doing our best and we're honest, authentic, if anything. I'd rather call ourselves as authentic as we are in this moment than a master. I can't call it. We're never really going to be a master. If you're a master, especially if she's here, your friend, or I don't know, man or woman. Oh yeah, she. If she's still in this matrix, you didn't master it, because you're not supposed to be here. You should be out of here. Sorry. So I'm not a master because I'm still here talking. Like,
Well, here's the thing. Where we're being called to is to stop putting our power into these beings outside of us. I don't care if they're angels or ascended masters or 12th dimensional Assyrians or Pleiadians. I don't care who they are. We're being called to be sovereign, to know that we have all the answers, and that we can do this with our own energy. Our own energy is powerful,
Yeah.
Like, we
that's it.
are our power. We are our power. This is our energy. We don't need these beings to do anything for us. And if you have a legit spirit guide or legit guidance, they're going to tell you that. You don't need us. You're just as powerful.
Yeah. That's what my guides or our guide said to me. And, even if that is a legit thing, like that still doesn't mean that they are also immune from being hijacked. So I still not going to take that for granted. I took the advice and used and applied it to myself instead of looking for them for that approval or whatever it is.
In this reality, here's the thing. There's no guarantee that the beings you are connected with are not deceptive. There's no guarantee. And this is why, even with all the questioning and all the things you can ask them to verify that they are who they say they are, there's never a guarantee, because unless they're standing in front of you,
right,
there's no way to really know. But even at that, it could be a holographic insert.
Right. If you can't even read humans and they're deceptive to you, like, how are you going to read I don't know, another being that you can't even see? You have to really have strength in that. Again, discernment is always the key word here. It's all discernment. And Vera says she corrected me when I named her light worker. So I guess she said, I'm not a light worker, I'm a light master. Well, that's a red flag, Vera. I'm sorry to say that to you. But
yeah,
we're just trying our best here. I think if you can be humble and not get so stuck on a label and be like, yo, Tina, I'm a Jedi. Like, I don't know. There's a certain twing, like, there's an ego there. There's some there's some work that needs to be done. So, I mean, my master, okay, whatever you want to call yourself. That's what you want to call yourself. That's your prerogative, but
Well, Vera says like that didn't feel okay. So you need to trust that.
right.
You need to trust that.
Yeah, trust how you're feeling. Yeah, Helen, there's gonna be a lot of, you know, calling it a sacred. I think, like people have the intentions. They do have good intentions. It's just that they're not educated enough. And because they get trapped in the belief system of the love and light community that, we're all one, we're only like trying to bring in good vibes, blah, blah, blah. Their intentions are good, but it's again a lack of education. And she might, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And spiritual bypassing too.
Yeah, they'll just learn down the line if they do get screwed over or whatever, that's their path. Not for us to clean up, but I mean, like, observe it, take the messages that resonate, leave the rest. Like, if you feel that it doesn't feel good, I wouldn't watch it anymore, like, you got to go with your own feelings, your own navigation system, your own compass. If you feel like you're always chasing those kind of messages and channelings, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what is it in me that I need in these messages? Like, what is it trying to feed me? Or what am I looking for? Are you looking for comfort? Are you looking for hope? Are you looking for, just to feel good? You have to try to, instead of looking for these sources outside of you, try to find ways on how you can do that with your, for yourself. It's important to try to fill in your own voids and all of that. It is nice to see other people's messages and channelings, but honestly, like, I don't really care so much for the channelings, because it's like nothing has happened. Sorry, like, it feels like it's kind of like, soap operas, where you can like leave the soap opera for five years and then you come back and it's still the same storyline. Nothing happens. Stefano DiMera's still there, Days of Our Lives. Like, it's nothing. Marlena's still possessed. Like, it's the same storyline. There's nothing moving. There's no movement. It's always the same kind of thing. And
because most people, when they're channeling, they're just tapping into the astral realm that's surrounding Earth. They're really not getting through that. So all of that information is just recycled over and over and over again.
Yeah, they could be tapping into the collective. It's the same crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? Calling their channel sacred because channeling Jesus.
Are they even checking if it's really Jesus?
Right.
Like, I'd like to know their step program. Like, I mean, when people are channeling, I want to know how they go about doing that. I'd be more interested in what they're doing, how to get to that being before I listen to a message. There's a lot of stuff that can come through these messages that are feeding the people. So this is also for your own information, that there could be deceptive energies that may be coming in through the message that is feeding you through their message.
They can hook into their listeners with cords and stuff too. We've seen reptiles who love to pretend that they're benevolent beings, and their goal is to channel through this person who then is putting out that information, and it goes out like a web, and they hook into you too. So that's the whole goal of, a reptile can, pretend to be whatever, some being of light, and their whole goal is to get this person to not only take the information for themselves, but then to share it, and it goes out, and they create connections with all of their followers as well.
Yeah, I guess that's how they like also create their own like hive mind connectors. So yeah. Well, thank you for letting me rant, everybody. I sorry I got a little high pitched there, but I just had to say that because it was really bugging me. Because I mean, with this work, it's been really difficult in terms of like, sometimes the recovery time is hard. Sometimes I can't get out of bed. Same for Tina. It's not easy. So you think it would be easier for us to go do the light work and spreading that joy? I would love to do that if it would give me quality of life and like whatever the easy route, but no, that's not the route we're taking. Someone's got to do the garbage work, right? Yeah, it's been difficult. Like, yeah, it can be very heavy, however, very fulfilling when we see that those who have been suffering have now been at
That's
least
why we do it.
relieved from it. Because
Right.
we've experienced our own personal hells and our own dark night of the souls and all of that, and had to relieve ourselves. We had to remove our own entities. We had to acknowledge that there were entity involvement, manipulating us, keeping us in whatever in our life situations, whatever that may
Yeah.
be.
That's why we do it. We do it for the people that are suffering with these things. And it's difficult to find help because there's not a lot of help out there.
No, there
Like
isn't a
at
lot of
all.
help.
Because people are just refusing to acknowledge that entities even exist. Like Helen said, they refuse to even acknowledge that entities exist. And meanwhile, people are being abducted and their genetics are being stolen and all of those types of things. It's crazy. It's crazy. Humans are being harvested and sold in a slave trade and people just refuse to see it. But that's what blows my mind because if you admit that we live in a world of duality, then if there's light, there must be darkness, right?
Yeah.
Like
That's a pretty basic that's a pretty basic statement.
Oh, interesting too. I found this really awesome hypnosis practitioner who also does this kind of work. His name is Kalodro Grafasi. I linked his videos in my Matrix Reincarnation Trap playlist.
Hashtag.
I forget what I was gonna say. What was I saying?
About Caligero, another practitioner.
Oh, yeah. So check out some of his work. I forget what I was gonna say specifically.
He's the Italian guy, right? Or
Yeah.
Spanish and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great guy. He's really
It's funny.
inspiring.
He is inspiring.
Inspiring in a sense that he really embodies his power. And if there's like a dark being there, like Ashtar, he's straight up. He's like, I eat you, Ashtar. And he eats him. Like he's like, you are in my belly now, Ashtar. And it's just like, yeah, you do that, boy. Like, eat him. And he just doesn't give him his power. Because you don't realize that we don't realize, again, like we have clients that are here, in fear because they've done some things that have opened up a portal and all these dark beings are in there. They go into a psychosis, all the things. Until you realize that you can, you're much more powerful than these beings. You're only food to them when you're uneducated, when you don't know better, and when you have that mentality and mindset that they are scary and, but then when you know the truth about it, you could flip the switch. Eat them. Like, eat them, and then you can transmute them out of there. So yeah, the education part is really the most important thing. And I think we need to really stress that to the people, is that not to be afraid of the darkness.
Right.
I mean, they're there, yes. We have been coexisting with them in human form and in the unseen. So we have been affected by them one way or another. And you can't say too that these things don't exist, especially like when majority of us have come from religions that we're talking about hell and good
Right.
guys and bad guys. Like, I mean, it's everywhere.
So we consent to it in a few different ways. And one of those ways is by unawareness, about not having the awareness. So if you say, for example, go to a plant medicine ceremony, and you're not aware of entities or even that you need protection or should even consider worrying about it, and you sit down in that plant medicine ceremony just as a completely open vessel, not really knowing who's holding the space for that. Are they putting protection there? Are they monitoring what beings are coming in and out of that space? All of these things. And you go and sit down in there, there's literally a portal opening up and allowing all of these entities to come in and out as they please and harvest the energy of the people that are there, creating cords and attachments and implants. So you can't say that someone created that through their belief in that, because that person had no belief in entities.
Right on. I'm glad you said that. It's true. It's fucking true. It's very
but
true.
That person was sent into a psychosis by the entities that then came and attached to them and harvested their energy. So you can't say that that person created that through their fear or through their belief, because that person had no awareness of entities, right?
Right on.
So, all of the things that they say, it just doesn't pan out, doesn't even make sense.
Pados. Is taking pados dangerous, or can it help to connect with source or get insights?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is, Vera. Pados. Listen, about connecting with like source or insights or things like that. Connect with yourself. All the wisdom that you seek is all within you. That's it. If it's hard for you though to get information from within, that is pretty much what indicates that there's you need to do some healing within yourself and clearings and whatnot.
Purifying the mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. And integrating all parts of you inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is, pados. But yeah, we've had a lot of clients that come to us after plant medicine ceremonies, and they're just completely taken over and in a state of psychosis, and it's really sad. It's really sad. Those things can be dangerous, and I don't think it's not about fear. It's about awareness. It's just awareness. We don't protect ourselves out of fear. This isn't information in itself is not fear-based. It's how you, information is neutral. You either are afraid of it or you're not. And then when you're afraid of it, you label it fear-based because you're afraid of it. So.
Right. So it's just a projection.
Right.
Being with mushrooms. Yeah. Don't do psychedelics. Like, try to stay away from that, because if you have a lot of vulnerabilities and again with the vessel, and you're also around people who are not responsible or who are educated or know how to hold space for those kind of things to happen, there's a lot of portal openings, there's a lot of opening into the astral, there's a lot of that stuff. So it's not worth it to do that. If you're in a desperate need or wanting and connecting with source or whatever, I would hold it off, because you shouldn't have to do anything outside of you or take something to have that connection if you are connected within yourself. That's pretty much the bottom line. It's nothing outside of you. You can't just go out and connect to God outside of you. That's not it. You are going to connect inside.
Sources inside of you.
Yeah, it's not outside of you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I want to get going. I'm not feeling so good.
Yeah, ayahuasca opens portals.
Oh yeah, Helen, we've
Yeah.
seen it. Big ones.
Yeah.
Big
No to
hell
ayahuasca.
portals.
Yeah.
Purgatory portals. Like, no, it's not worth it. Especially again, if the shaman doesn't know how to hold the space, or to the very least, work with a shaman and do your homework and like find someone who can. And because yeah, it's not just like a thing where you go to the park and you go and do ayahuasca. No, it's you have to be responsible with how you open up your consciousness.
Right. Because you could open it up and never come back from that,
Yes.
Everyone is different. Everyone is different.
Yeah, you might walk through a portal and not be able to come back in if you're not. Oh, it's just, oh God, it's not worth it. Doesn't sound good. It sounds like a forever trip.
Mm-hmm.
Bad trip.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for coming to our show today. We appreciate y'all interacting with us. Please like our video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please share it if you think that it would be beneficial for those. And thank you again for listening to my multiple pitches and listening to my rants. Always a pleasure to be around with you. And we hope that we had helped you in some way. And yeah, we will see you again in our next episode.
See you next time, guys. Big love.
Bye.
Thanks
Love
so
you.
much for being with us.